Good day. On.
I'm Dave.
Barstools
and Bandtalk.
Good seeing you. This is going to be a real fun episode. I haven't known these guys too long. I got a couple funny stories that we're going to share. Wait till you see these two. Cute as a friggin' bug. Truth be told, I just woke up. I got chips in my beard. Dave needs a haircut, and when we bring these guys on, we just brought the cute factor up 1,001%.
Oh Jesus! I told Sean, I said, man, did you not tell them it was like casual dress or something? Like we clicked on their picture and I thought it was a profile picture. And then they started moving. It's like, oh, they're the most handsome couple I've ever seen, Lord God in heaven. But you know what? It's part of our series of women who rock the Maritimes, but power couples, and they're a great couple. Can't wait for y'all to meet them. We have on our show tonight, Crystal and Mark Sweeney. Here they are from the band Shaydid.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
See?
So we're going to give Dave a couple minutes here to fawn over y'all. And you just did a really nice intro. So Mark, a little smitten with you, bud. Just saying.
I can't believe what a handsome couple you are. It's like, oh my God, Sean and I are ugly as sin, and look at you guys. Holy mackerel.
Come on.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. You guys look great.
We're going to jump right in. So just before we went on, asked how long the band was together. Now, Mark, I don't know if you remember this or not. 2000, I want to say 3, maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and a buddy walked into Peddler's Pub, and you guys were there, and I don't think Crystal was there. You were a 3-piece, maybe? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was you, and there was a keyboard player that looked like he was about 10.
Yeah, Stefan.
3-piece. And I remember you guys at Peddlers. If anybody remembers Peddlers, it was a cool bar that kind of isn't with us anymore. But so I remember seeing that band, and there was a different guitar player than Darren. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
And then I saw the band, and you guys were great. You're doing some cool stuff. And then somebody said, yeah, did you see Shaydid, man? They get this singer. And I'm like, I don't remember having a singer. And they were talking about this energetic singer. And then I went out, and I think the next time I saw you, it was at the Ode.
Yeah.
Wow, your singer, man. She's like, she gets so much energy. And it was obviously Crystal. So you guys, what was she off that weekend? What was the deal? How did that happen?
This is a great story.
No, actually, so what happened was Crystal and I had a band in PEI with a couple other guys, and we were playing every weekend, just local clubs or whatever. And Stefan and Rob had started the band Shaydid with another drummer. And their drummer left for whatever reason, so I just they gave me a call. I went and played an ECA main show with them, and we kind of hit it off. So they were calling me to do gigs with them when I wasn't playing with our band. And so yeah, that's how it started. And then we we're getting more gigs and stuff like that. So the two bands were kind of colliding a bit. And I said, look, man, I this is awesome. I wish I could stay, but I'm in a band with my wife, and that just to me, that's where I wanted to be. So Stefan and Rob Hunt was the guitar player at the time, had a little powwow and came back and said, okay, well, if you join the band, we'll take Crystal.
We'll take her too.
Yeah.
Gee, and what were they bringing to the party, really?
Exactly.
Oh, here comes Mark in his baggage. Oh.
I know, right? So yeah, so that's why Crystal's in the band, and
Yep.
And they're not.
they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, in their defense, at the time, 3-piece was a lot more economical and stuff like that. But I mean, as soon as Crystal joined, I mean, it just took off. It was just the perfect timing to have a lead female vocal back on the scene, kind of, and it was just the right timing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's how it started with Crystal.
Package deal.
We're a package deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys have lived in PEI first. You came here in 2003. 2003.
Yeah.
Okay. And so have you always just done music up until this point? I mean, you're obviously going to school all along, but
I've had a number of crazy jobs, like very interesting jobs, because let's face it, what we really wanted to do is play music, but in the Maritimes and in PEI, it wasn't always enough to get by. So, you know, I did my fair share of, you know, sharpening skates and scooping ice cream. And I worked at the call center. Oh, this is a good story. So I worked at the call center. I was working at the call center when in PEI, whenever Mark joined Shaydid, and I joined Shaydid. So our first gig was in Halifax. I believe it was at the Briar, or one of our first shows was at the Briar in Halifax, which was televised. I didn't know that. So I called in sick. And then yeah.
It was on CT.
So you lost your gig as a call girl is what you're trying to say.
It worked out. It worked out well. So yeah. So we've had a bunch of other jobs, and then so we started the band in 2003. We'd always played music up until that point, but in 2003 we moved back to Nova Scotia, and then in 2006 I told Mark, I was like, I want to go back to school. I want to go to university. And he was like, what for? You know, don't leave the band kind of thing, right? And I was like, no, I can do both. And I've been doing both for 14 years. So,
Seriously.
and now school's done. I have an amazing job at Dow. I love it. I'm doing research, but I'm still able to play in the band. And so, you know, because everybody in my other life understands that music is not just a hobby.
Yeah.
When you're a musician, it's not just a hobby, it's part of your identity. So it's important that stays. So.
Great line. So, Mark, you had some education previous to that too, right? Because you went to school for music.
I did, yeah. And I think it was 98. I went to Humber College for a year to study jazz. And so that, you know, that was an awesome year. It was great. But oddly enough, you know, everybody in my class was kind of like, I was 25 at the time. So most of the people in the class were around 18, 19. And they hadn't done many gigs before. So I had done quite a few gigs up until that point. And they're like, why are you here? We're just going to get out and do the same kind of gigs. So I was like, well, no, I'm here to, you know, get better as a musician and all that stuff. But, you know, I kind of thought about that after. And, you know, a jazz diploma, as good as it is, it doesn't really take you very far. And, you know, so I ended up going home for the summer after the first year and started playing with other bands and never went back. There was part of me that regrets not going back to finish, but at the same time, I think it was the right choice. You know, because I met Crystal shortly after that.
Well, there you go. So, so, just to kind of, so back to the whole education. So, Crystal, your PhD is in what again?
That's a good question. So, it's an interdisciplinary PhD at Dow, which means that, in long story short, Dalhousie University doesn't have a toxicology program, but that's what I really wanted to do my degree in. So I was able to form a thesis committee with a toxicologist and some other professionals. So I did it's an interdisciplinary degree with a focus on toxicology, analytical toxicology.
Okay. Which means what?
You made up your own degree. They didn't have the program. It's like, I'm going to fucking do it anyhow.
Who's the smart one?
So,
you Islanders, holy Jesus, you Islanders.
You've seen CSI?
Yeah.
That's my life. Just trying to except it's not forensic toxicology, it's environmental toxicology. So I'm looking for trace levels of contaminants in human blood and urine. That's what I had been doing. So I was developing methods for analyzing pesticides in blood and urine.
Okay.
Isn't that microbiology though?
Sorry?
Isn't that microbiology? Is it the same kind of thing or no?
When people think about microbiology, they think about microbes and pathogens, things like that. So that's a different area. Those people are working on the vaccine right now. But.
Right.
Yeah. Don't go there. Don't get into waters to which you're going to be schooled here. So the question I have, because now Mark, you're back to school. So Crystal, obviously you were doing this while you were playing with the band, right?
Yes.
So the discipline to study and play, because I know, you know what it's like. Everybody thinks playing in a band is glamorous. I know, you know, we party, but the whole series of naps like during the day. So where do you find the discipline, or both of you guys find the discipline to do that? Because I mean, it's just like, I know sometimes you don't even feel like doing anything when you're playing gigs on the road.
Yeah,
I know it was really hard. I mean, there have been times, you know, we're playing the lower deck and I'm on break and I'm studying. Or I remember one time we were playing in Fredericton at Dolan's Pub, and as soon as we went on, we're gonna take a break, everybody, don't go away, blah blah blah. I'd go out back and like run samples remotely, and like
Oh my God.
no one really saw the logistics involved in trying to complete that work while in the band.
God love
Crazy.
it.
That's crazy.
We're on a break and the boys are in the kitchen doing you know what. So that's
yeah.
So,
I've never,
well. So Mark,
go ahead. I've never turned down a party though.
That's great.
last
she's an
time
islander, yeah.
you weren't taking any, you weren't doing any samples remotely, if I remember correctly, because we were all there. You guys were playing a private party on the Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. So, Mark, you're going through the same thing then with the studying and the playing and trying to keep up. And
Yeah, it's, you know, for the most part, I was doing part-time, a couple of courses a semester. But I'm going to ramp it up now that she's in the workforce. We've always had the policy of paying for school as we go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's, you know, it's a balance. I mean, you spend the afternoons instead of napping, working on papers or assignments and stuff like that. So
You deserve a lot of credit, seriously. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No naps.
No naps.
No naps.
No naps.
So I have a question for you. So I mean, I know you're pretty. No, I've seen you perform a few times at the lower deck in Clayton Park, or whatever it's called now, and a couple of times downtown. Is that your mainstay? Like you have the lower deck gig. That's two gigs. You do Dolan's. Like where else are you playing? Because I mean, we know there's not the circuit that there was like when Sean and I were playing in the '80s. So you're not doing 7 nights anymore. So like, what's a typical month look like for Shaydid?
We're usually at the lower deck downtown, usually once every 5 weeks. Clayton Park, we were there for about 5 years, once a month. This year, we're there only once every 2 months.
Okay.
Fredericton, usually 4 to 5 times a year. O'Leary's in St. John. And then, you know, we used to do Toronto, Ottawa. Those gigs have fallen off the map for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's just not a lot left. It's funny, even 8 years ago, you know, you're turning down work. There was just too much work at the time for us. And, you know, now it's a bit of a scramble, right? And
It's true, but there are some really new, interesting pubs opening up. Some places like in smaller towns that are starting to ramp up, and it takes a while to kind of build it up. But once it's built up, you get these returning the clientele, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, like Fat Tony's in Pictou is awesome gig.
Super fun.
Shooters has been around a long time. We just started playing there maybe 4 years ago, but it's a super fun gig.
Awesome.
Where's that? Shooters is where?
In Enfield.
Field.
Okay, yeah.
Both of those gigs are typically twice a year. So between that and you know, some corporate weddings, I mean, that's the holy grail, right? The corporate gigs. It takes so long. You know, it's not an overnight thing to get corporate work, for sure. 99% of our corporate work comes from playing the lower deck downtown.
Exactly.
Yep, that makes sense.
The spin-off.
The spin-off is an incredible area. Yeah.
I like playing. We did about 7 weddings last year, and they're fun because it's like that first 1 or 2 songs where you're like, man, are we gonna bomb or is it gonna be good? And then
Yeah.
so that's exciting. And to your point, I did try to get out of the matinee at the Dolan's by telling them that I was gonna start. I told Barry I was gonna start going to school, but he didn't go for it. So
Yeah.
I ruined that for you
like,
guys.
they don't do the matinee, right? So anyway, it was funny to us, Dave. You can laugh. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. How are you guys? Because I mean, I was talking to Kyle today. We were kind of comparing notes on what's going on. Like, what have you guys been up to since all this nonsense started?
You want to go with that first?
So I now work from home.
Yeah.
So our lab is still very much involved in research. And in some cases, when you're doing different research projects, for example, when I was doing my PhD, I remember thinking, man, if I could just shut down in my house for about a month just to write, to get caught up. So that's what our group is doing. We're very, very productive. We're catching up. and we're, spitting new ideas for new research for when everything does open up. So I've been working from home, and I've been working non-stop and loving every minute of it. It's great. Yeah. So
You, Mark, going nuts? Or you doing any practicing, or what do you have?
Yeah, actually, it's been great because I've been able to practice every day. Something I haven't done for a long time. I spend about an hour, and I'm back in school now doing condensed courses online, so that keeps me busy.
Right.
But there are days for sure where I'm just like, oh man, I want to get back to playing so bad. I was talking to Sean Burt from Shameless about this quite a bit, and you had your good days, and don't get me wrong, we're very lucky to be in this country and
Yes.
being taken care of and things like that. But at the end of the day, some days are better than others.
Yep.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, I was saying, God's honest truth, every probably Saturday night, I get on my kit and I practice our set list so that I don't forget it, right?
Well, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I got a funny story for you. I might have told you guys this. Definitely told Darren Shaw this. Did I tell you the story about my brother-in-law from Fredericton?
I don't remember.
we might have been having some drinks when you did. So you go again.
So my brother-in-law going to St. Thomas, and I told Darren the story. Darren would get it. Anyway, so he always used to say, yeah, I go to Golan's and I see this band Shaydid. Every time I see him, because he knew I was a musician. Finally, I was like, Matt, if I fucking hear about Shaydid one more fucking time. And of course, Darren's laughing his head off. Darren, I hated your guts for 2 years. Anyway, how do you get a job? But it was just really funny. Matt Keith, I don't know if you remember him. He was probably one of the little groupies that used to hang out at the
I was just talking to his daughter's mom today.
Yeah, they're no longer together, but yeah, that'd be her.
But they've got the co-parenting thing down pat. They're amazing. So yeah, Matt Keith. What are the odds?
Pardon me?
What are the odds that would come up?
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. And so they're out in Red Deer, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Actually, to tell you the truth, you're probably closer to them than I am, but anyway.
They're
Awesome.
Shaydid family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
No, sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. Matt's, I think he's talking about Calgary, if I'm not mistaken, because there's just not a lot going on in Red Deer right now, but
That's possible.
Could be, yeah.
but anyway.
I have a question for you now, guys. I mean, you're both, you're a friggin' handsome couple. It's retarded handsome. So, but I mean, after you're done school, I mean, you're working full time. Mark, you're going back to school. So, what's the future for the band? I mean, is it the kind of thing that you can? And we talked about this 1,000 times. We've been doing this now for almost a month. This talk show, and it's like that itch in a musician. You can't. It's under your skin. You can't get it out. You have to keep on doing it. This music, this entertaining part of it. So, do you plan to keep on with the band?
I'm gonna play until Carl at the lower deck kicks me off the stage.
Very good.
So we got about a month.
So, which kind of happens every. No, I'm gonna play until I physically cannot do it anymore.
That's awesome.
Until no one wants to hear it anymore.
And that was always the plan.
Yeah.
Because everybody said as soon as Crystal's done, or done school and the workforce, the band's done. But
No.
we love it, and we love the guys. Darren and Kirk are amazing guys, and we have a great time together.
Yeah.
And as long as everybody's still on board, we've always kind of had checked in every 6 months. Everybody's feeling, and for the most part, the four of us are on the same page most of the time. So
I jammed with Darren probably 25 years ago. It was the last time I probably really talked to him in any kind of detail. Is he got a day gig as well, or what's his deal?
Yeah, he's started an AV company.
Oh, nice.
Shaw Sound and Lighting. Probably
Very good.
5 years ago. Would you say 5?
It seems like 2, but it was probably 5.
Probably longer. Yeah. So he's got some work with that, and Kirk's had a wood shop and he does woodworking. He's now working for a construction company.
Yeah.
It's everybody kind of has their thing on the side.
That's awesome, then. So you can keep the band going. That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah. So
No, I think about some of the folks that don't have that, and I mean, luckily that whole funding piece came in, but I remember that whole 3 weeks where people were going like, "What the hell am I going to do? I can't pay rent. I can't do." It was pretty crazy, and Then the next thing you know, all these guys that are worried about it are putting hardwood floors in their apartment, and I'm sitting there scratching my head going like, anyway, I think a bit to, you know, I was talking to Kyle today, and Kyle's like, I mean, you know, Kyle, he's climbing the walls. He just wants to get, so.
Yeah.
That was our incentive for this thing. We started this because I was scared I was going to go to my fucking mind. Like, I talk for a living. I'm an extrovert. It's like I'm an Aquarius. It's like, God, let me give me something to do, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Sean said, I got an idea. Let's do this. So we did some talk shows, like radio talk shows, and then we spin off to this, and we're having so much fun at it.
Well, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's a great platform.
Brilliant.
You know, keep people together. It's entertaining. You know, I mean, it is a tough time right now, but it is great to see that such positive posts and things like that. People putting up photos and things. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we're really trying to do, because we actually started this when all the really sort of nasty stuff happened, and we're trying to keep it positive. So we've had maybe 2 negative posts, and we've gone to the people and actually said, hey, do you mind if we like take it? And everybody's been really cool. You know, the shoe might fall at some point, but we've really been trying to, and it's been really like the unfortunate part for Dave and I is we've had and we've had to do it a couple of times. We've had people that are away that are starting to Halifax, and they're reaching out to us saying, like, oh my God, like I'm feeling depressed. Like that's not the We've had other feedback where people who haven't really been functioning for a long time normally are coming back and saying this is great. And again, wasn't the intention, but it's folks like yourself coming on and just kind of, you know, letting everybody know what's what. That it's creating a pretty cool vibe, and it's pretty fun, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
No, it's awesome, man. It's great.
I'm actually grateful for this because since everything started and our calendar got kind of wiped out, I haven't really been active on social media as much, like with the band or anything like that, just because I dove into my other job, you know, because I'm taking advantage of, you know, this time and having extra sleep and whatever. I'm trying to be productive. But it's true, I haven't really been able to reach out to anybody. So this was a perfect opportunity for me. I was really glad that you guys asked.
Well, here's an opportunity. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to that's not local at all right now?
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we're in 11 countries and 23 cities, just saying.
The only problem with doing that is being afraid you miss somebody.
I love everyone, man.
But seriously, I call them like our Shaydid family. We have just people that you know make us shirts like these.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And actually, Matt, Keith, and Deb, and all them, they were the first ones.
That's awesome.
Hilarious. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, Matt, Keith, and Deb, and them, they were the ones that made us our first Shaydid shirts, like 15 years ago. You know, and you know our dancing couple, Maggie and Mel, that come out to the lower deck, and the first one's on the dance floor, last one's off.
Nice.
You know, just our family, our music family. We just miss everybody so much.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I mean, I did have an opportunity to attend your celebrity roast on the night of your PhD award, and you need new fucking friends.
It's supposed to be an honor.
I was like, this is uncomfortable.
But what ended up happening was, this is what ended up happening. Everyone else kind of got roasted as well. And you know, you can't really roast somebody about their alcohol intake when you play in a rock and roll band. You know, like, that just kind of...
Whatever do you mean?
So I didn't really feel roasted. Now Mark got it.
Oh, I got it bad.
He got it bad.
Innocent bystander, and just I got railed so bad. I should have saw that one.
Then you're like the celebrity roast of William Shatner, where you get to go and be the roaster at the end of it. And so
she fucking gave it back, and I tell you right now, she gave it back. I was very proud of you. That was really good. And you could tell it was all in fun and love, and it was, support. It was really well put on. I'm only teasing, but it means
That's
Yeah.
good.
it was looking pretty rough there for a bit. It's like, holy frick.
There's a few moments there.
My
Like,
poor mother.
Oh, your mother was
my
there.
parents were there. That was great.
Oh yeah, like
Every time you're swearing, she's like, oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, jeez.
well,
Yeah.
it's funny because I used to like when people would request crazy bitch, and my in-laws were there. I would be like, oh, this is rough. That doesn't bother me anymore after that roast.
Well, it's just, hey, we're just playing a part. We don't really believe it.
Yeah, I didn't write this.
Yeah.
You know the deal.
Where did the name Shaydid come from, by the way?
It's kind of a
You go.
boring story. No.
All right.
Um,
No,
it's,
no bother. We know anything boring.
it's just based on Rob, our old, first guitar player. His daughter's named Shayla. They wanted to call the band Jaded, but Aerosmith had a tune out at the time.
Yeah.
So I think somebody's father-in-law said, well, be Shaded, spell it this way. So we kind of inherited the name, which, and by the time the other two guys left, we're already established. So changing it was just not in the cards. So, just kind of, but everybody asks, right? We always say we got to come up with a better story.
Come up with a story.
Well, I tell you, we talked to Bruce Wheaton, and Bruce he had a band, Molly Oliver, way back in the day.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for some big story. And he's like, well, we were just at somebody's college, and there was two Labrador Retrievers. One was Molly, and one was Oliver, and I kid you not.
But there was a big story about this witch of the sea, and her name was Molly Oliver. It was, and I thought I heard this story before. I was like, oh, I want to hear more about this pirate witch from the sea. He's like, nah, that's just bullshit. It's just two dogs. Like, oh man. You know what I mean?
That is
That's
hilarious.
awesome. I don't feel so bad now.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, well, we're almost out of time, guys. I mean, it's been a real treat to have you. And we kind of met in different circles and stuff. And I know Sean's the same way, but it's like what we found with this site. I mean, and I think back to Heather Thompson did it really first at that Nova Scotia online kitchen party. It kind of brought that musical family together. You know what I mean? Whether you're just starting or you're a professional or you're just going out of your mind, you want to perform. So we kind of tapped onto that market a little bit and said, like, let's take it to the next level and do live. But we're finding that there's a real community here, and you guys are part of that. So we really appreciate you coming on the show. We really do.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thanks
much.
so much. Yeah, no, it's great. And keep up the good work. It's awesome. Like I say, it's an amazing platform.
Yeah.
Brings people
Well,
together.
Yeah, well, and to your point, it's just something that we kind of, like we were talking to Pat Roach last night, and Pat said to us, don't change anything. Like, don't get professional. And it's like, we're far from professional, but the whole point was just keep it the way it is because it's cool.
That's,
and again,
that's Scotch taped up.
Yeah, it was funny. We thought he was off. We thought we cut him, and Dave and I were arguing back and forth. He's like, "That's great. You got to keep that in the piece." So anyway,
It's like
really,
all at once.
Yeah.
and he only showed us his bare belly once, so that was good of him. Behavior. You know what, guys? Thanks a lot for doing this because I don't really get to see you guys play much. Obviously, when it's the first time I saw you guys in a while was in Fredericton when. Hopefully all this shit gets over and we get to go out and have some fun again.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
A little bit of good news today. We'll, apparently we have to wear surgical masks on the stage and be 15 feet apart when we play in bars. But I mean, it's a start, I guess.
Yeah.
And we will get you guys.
That a long time ago.
Yeah.
We will get you guys.
I
So thanks a
love
lot for this, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
We love you. You're seriously the most handsome couple we've seen in a long, long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
I understand that I think next week all the barbers and the aesthetics and all those places are open up, so I'll get myself a waxing job. Maybe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I apologize for Dave, but thanks for coming on anyway, guys.
Cheers. Thank you so much. You
man.
guys are great.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
guys.
Peace out. Take care.
All right.
Good night.
See you guys.
All right, good.